Hey, how you doing today? The people who love me know how much I actually like noodles. So, how did I get here? How did I end up living life on a bus? That's good. It all started with an orange basketball. No, it all started with a restaurant. Um, I was 29. I got offered to take over a restaurant in a very small town, and I obliged. Not willingly, but I obliged. Everybody was like, "You should do it. You should do it. You should do it." And I said, "I don't know. Seems kind of questionable to me," but I still did it. And ended up having to close. So, after the first restaurant closed, we moved around the corner and ended up sharing a building with another local restaurant. They were open on Sundays. They ran a buffet. And we were open the rest of the days of the week. Because we were closed on Sundays, it worked out pretty well. Until stuff started going missing. So, it's kind of crazy. I'm not going to leave that part out. We were doing well. Business was doing well. And the electricity was cut off because the original runners of the restaurant had the bills going to their house. Didn't tell us. They ended up having to move out because they weren't paying rent, but didn't tell us that the electricity was due. By the time we got the bill, it was upwards of $1,000, and being a small business, we couldn't afford to do that. So we closed down temporarily. In being closed down temporarily, the owner of the building changed the locks on us. And that was kind of devastating. It was devastating because we went to go and check on our stuff and the locks were changed, but whoever changed the locks did not change all the locks. And my key still worked on one door. So we got our stuff out, left without a fuss, even though she called the police on us and made it seem like we were stealing her property. She was trying to steal ours because we had a whole bunch of equipment in there, refrigerators, chairs, tables, the whole nine, enough to run a restaurant. So we vacate, a lot of lies were told that I'm not going to try and defend. Small town bull. But at the end of the restaurant, I didn't know what to do. Because prior to us closing, I had just had the best service that a restaurant could have. And also had just done I was doing private events, catering, all types of stuff. And I just got done with my chef table event not too long prior to that. So I was in shambles, Not only did I take one blow, I took two. From life being life, in the pursuit of happiness, I guess you could say. And I ended up having to take a job at IHOP. Once the restaurant closed, money wasn't flowing. I had to rent out my house because I do own a house. I had to rent that out. Luckily, it was to somebody that I don't mind helping. I had to move in with my parents. Life just kept... Mind you, I'm in my 30s. If I was some 20-some-year-old kid, I could understand. But I should have life established by now. This is what's going on in my mind. I should have life established by now. I should be much farther ahead than I am. So, it all came in at once. With it all piling in the way that it did, I kind of just shut down and went into autopilot for a good little bit, doing what I need to do in order to make ends meet, because I didn't just drag myself down into the gutter. My family invested a lot of money and time. Loved ones, friends, a lot of people invested money and time in me, and I felt like I had failed. So I worked at IHOP. I stayed there for almost a year. But somewhere around that year mark, it started feeling like I was getting pushed out of situations that were just fine. And in being pushed out, I'm like, okay, I'm working on my food truck at this point. I'm getting my food truck done by the beginning of summer. Go work for myself, because this is just, it's too much. I can't keep doing this corporate bull. End up, getting let go from IHOP because of a chin wagging with the boss's pet. Yeah, I said it. Not even the manager of the store. He was higher than the general manager of the store. Hitting off servers, being a sugar daddy to him. And shorty started with me, and I ended up getting fired. More that it seemed like I was getting pushed out. Exactly. Push out. I rebounded, ended up with a job at Longhorn. Everything was cool. I was pretty quiet. Excuse me. I was pretty quiet, stayed to myself. I'm just here to make my money, go home. And then one day it's just like everything just did a total 180. And it's like the people I was cool with one day, the next day, it's like everybody started showing me the cold shoulder. And I'm like, the fuck wrong with these people? What's going on with these people? And yet and still, I did my job and I stayed quiet. It was one day, I was having a really rough day, but I didn't let it show. I just, laughed it off. But there was this one particular guy that felt he needed to ruin my good mood. And let's just say, I could have went to jail for a really long time for what was going to happen. I quit Longhorn. Because I don't know what's wrong with you 20-somethings. You don't have to be scared of someone in order to understand and respect what they're saying. And that or what attitude is going to get 5 holes put in your chest one day. So I'm even more down in the dumps. I'm like, damn, bro, I can't keep a job. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't do that. So I go through a bit of a depressive episode. And, kind of gave up a little bit. But I ended up getting life together. I continued to work on my food truck. And it was almost complete. I was almost ready to ride. Take off. And then boom. Again. I'm lining up events, getting my list ready on the menu. I'm writing menus. I'm doing all this other stuff. And the electricity on the food truck no longer works. So back to square one. It felt like everything was just going to hell and I couldn't win. So I'm doing odd jobs to keep money flowing. I'm doing whatever I can to keep money flowing outside of anything illegal. In the depressive episode that I was having after I left Longhorn after I left, you know, IHOP and all of that. I kept seeing videos on Facebook talking about start packing. God wants you to start packing. God wants you to start packing. I don't watch videos like that. It's not my algorithm. It's not part of my regular, you know. I usually watch funny stuff, a little bit of news just to see what's going on in the world, cooking videos. That's it. But I start getting videos. God wants you to pack. God wants you to pack. So I'm like, God, this can't be nobody but you. I grab every duffel bag that I have, wash all my clothes, and start packing bags. And I can honestly say from June to August, that was the same message I kept getting. God wants you to pack. God wants you to pack. Start packing. Start packing. The new house is yours. The new car is yours. And I'm not usually one of those people that pay attention to stuff like that, because it's a lot of, you know, internet preachers that just say stuff that people want to hear. Now, I rock with God, but I'm not one to listen to an internet preacher. And as time progressed, the message kept changing. But not like it wasn't adding up. It was continual. It was like one long message drawn out through different people that I've never watched, don't follow, never even paid attention to or seen. So I'm like, God, this gotta be you. This gotta be you. This gotta be you talking to me. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm living out of duffel bags, living in my mother's house at this point. And then one day out of the blue, my mom is like, the bus is yours. Now mind you, she built this. She bought an old Metro Access bus and built this. I helped a little bit, but of course I was working, so I really couldn't get in there and help the way that she needed me to. But it was complete. She did a maiden voyage, all of that good stuff. And then one day, I was talking to her like, I think the food trailer is supposed to be yours, because I had a dream about giving away free turkey legs and coats. It's kind of weird, but she's like, I don't know. But then out of the clear blue sky, offered me the bus. It was like, God said it's yours. Okay. God said it's mine. I'll take the bus. So now, it's me. It's my Delta dog. And we live on this bus. Right now, I am still docked at my parents' house. Had to get some generator issues straight. Had to finish installing the black tank and some more. But I honestly feel like this journey is really going to take off January 1st, 2026. I don't know how. It's here. But that's how I ended up on the bus. My life spiraled. I fell to pieces. My life fell to pieces. Or did it fall into place? We're going to see. But yeah, that's it on how I ended up living on a bus. Thank you for listening. If you stayed this long, you might as well hit the like, share, follow, all of that good stuff. And if today was not amazing for you, hopefully tomorrow is. Stay beautiful.